Tēnā koutou, tōrero te maunga, koutou te moana, te hauhau te tangata. Tēnā koutou katoa. Konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa Blair Andrea desu. I must apologize, this is the only Nihongo I know. But you can feel assured that I also speak very poor Māori, Spanish and English, so be comfortable with that. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for a very warm welcome that we've had in Japan. We've enjoyed meetings and discussions with colleagues. I'd also like to declare that I didn't pay Uchida-san any money for his promotion to vote for me for the International Geothermal Association Board. However, I appreciate it and will graciously accept your votes if you wish to do so, as will Uchida-san, I'm sure. So, global interest in geothermal development is increasing, and how we engage and work with Indigenous communities and local communities is becoming more and more relevant. New Zealand has a reputation for successful engagement with Indigenous communities, and my presentation today will focus on how Māori in New Zealand participate in geothermal projects. Technical training required. So, just some background information. Māori arrived in New Zealand in the 13th century. They arrived via 7 great waka, or canoe. And today, Māori are 15% of the population of New Zealand, and 3% of our population speak fluent Māori, and it is an official language of New Zealand. They're a tribal culture. You would have seen the fierceness in our All Blacks rugby team. But however, disproportionate numbers of Māori face significant economic and social obstacles. Māori play a significant role in geothermal development in New Zealand, as the majority of land that sits above high temperature fields in New Zealand are owned by Māori. Like all First Nations people, Māori are spiritually and physically connected to the land. When they pass away, they're buried in their ancestral lands with their ancestors. Māori is not a written culture, it's a spoken culture. When they introduce themselves, they say what their river, what their sea is, where they are, what their mountains are, and who their common ancestor is. So I said that in my initial words. And the moko on their faces, or the tattoo that you see on Māori faces, outlines their ancestry from the top down to their parents, down to characteristics about themselves. So when you look at Māori and they have moko, you can immediately know where they're from. So, like I said, Māori have a large ownership of land above geothermal resources in New Zealand. And in New Zealand, to access geothermal reservoirs, well, in New Zealand, geothermal production is considered water or fluid take. So it's not mining, it's taking the fluid. You can explore anywhere in New Zealand for geothermal development. However, to access those fluids or those reservoirs, you must have permission from the landowner to explore and take from that land that's above the reservoir. So in New Zealand, you're forced to engage with the landowner and negotiate terms before you can explore and develop and produce geothermal production. So in New Zealand, we have a geothermal classification system where all geothermal systems are ranked, And there are three types of classifications: development, full development, limited development, and protected. So what this means is that in a regional way, all the uses and values of geothermal are balanced. What this does, it means that developers can have confidence that they can proceed with development without any problems, and local communities are confident that their uses and values are protected. So, successful developments. Here are a few key points on successful development: strong relationships between landowners and developers. These are long-term projects and you're going to be hanging around for a long time. There needs to be a good relationship. Everybody has to win in the relationship, and there must be commercial benefits for all stakeholders. Taking the time to understand what the other party's key drivers and their limits are important, and genuine engagement is a key aspect of successful development. So obviously there's government interest in geothermal development, and a critical success factor for recent geothermal development in New Zealand is because of the massive government support we've had in New Zealand, and some of the things I've heard over the last few days about Japanese government wanting to be involved in geothermal projects and pushing them along, I think is excellent and will help success. So levels of engagement with Indigenous groups. There are 4 types of engagement. Consideration. So you consider your local community when you are developing your development plans, creating your development plans. Consultation. Talking with your community about your development plans. Passive participation, meaning you develop and then the Indigenous or local community gets some form of recognition through payment. Or active participation, where the Indigenous or local community group partners or sole developers of projects. In New Zealand, the Māori groups tend to fall into the passive and active participation. So now I'm going to give you some examples of those types of engagement. So in New Zealand, it's a very small population. We must all wear many hats and have many jobs to make sure the country works. Another job that I have is I'm a director for Tauhara North No. 2 Trust, and they are based just north of Taupo. Yeah. And they have approximately $500 million in assets. They have 827 owners, and we're development partners with Mighty River Power. So we have power stations. This is Na'aupurua, which has been spoken about earlier, commissioned in 2010. The cost for this project was 430 million New Zealand dollars, which is cheaper than US dollars, but still a lot of money. Delivered by Sumitomo in an EPC contract, and is the largest single shaft triple flash geothermal turbine in the world, and is provided by Fuji. So we have an equity stake in the power station with Mighty River Power. So another active participation we have is in steam supply. So we don't own Rotokawa Power Station, but we are part of the Rotokawa joint venture, and we supply fluids to the Rotokawa Power Station. And the Ngā Tamariki Power Station, similarly, we don't own this power station, however, we supply fluid through the Rotokawa joint venture, and Ngā Tamariki is the world's largest winery plant, or wine plant. So benefits. So there's been substantial benefits translated to The people of Tauhara North Number 2 Trust distributed over $4 million over the last, well, up to 2007 to 2014. In the last 2 years, that's doubled. And these grants go towards supporting people and increasing their prosperity. Very proud to be part of this project. So, direct use. So, direct use is a Māori see direct use as a real opportunity to grow revenue. It localises economic opportunities. There's real increase in wealth and prosperity around direct use opportunities because you also see an increase in the number of jobs. So we all know that power stations only have a small number of people and lots of computers, but direct use operations provide massive job opportunities. Also, with a low carbon footprint, it's an environmentally friendly opportunity. So, cascade use as well, we will understand. Here are a few direct use opportunities. The one on the left up here, there's some hot springs at Waiake. This is a wood drying plant in New Zealand. And this is the corn farm. We grow corns for consumption. Here's another example of active participation. This operation is called Miraka. We discussed it a little bit earlier on. And Miraka is the Māori word for milk. And Miraka used the geothermal electricity and heat from the Mopai geothermal field to make whole milk powder and long life UHT milk. They started in 2011 and now employ over 150 people, which is significant for a small community. And they are real competitors with the massive group Fonterra, who are the biggest export milk product company in New Zealand. And they have plans to expand, so you might hear about Miraka milk here in Japan at some stage. Watch this space. So here's an example of integrated use. The group Tuarapaki is also operates on the Mopai geothermal field, and their catchphrase is, "We will act as a beacon of hope and prosperity for our people." So they have a number of operations at Mopai, Tuarapaki do. So I talked about Miraka, they are part owners in Miraka. So the geothermal power station, and the electricity or the heat goes to glass houses, the heat and electricity goes to Miraka, and Miraka gets the milk from their dairy operation. They have a large number of dairy cows, and glass houses. So the glass house waste feeds an industrial commercial worm farm, which is quite strange, I know. And then the worm farm waste is used in a native plant nursery, which is used as riparian strip planting for the dairy operation. So through the middle, there are some real gains in cost reduction. They look at their waste as opportunity, and I think it's a very smart use of their geothermal resource. So here's a photo of that operation. See the power stations, glass houses, Miraka. It looks very green and nice, doesn't it? But it's a big industrial complex. So keep it short. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Are there any questions?